Currently on KSL, one mother telling a travel horror story after her foster children got stuck on the Canadian side of the border while U.S. Border Patrol held them for more than 7 hours. Plus, experts predicting another historic holiday travel season this week. We've got the numbers and top destinations. And a wild encounter right here in Salt Lake City. This is video of 2 bobcats in the avenues. What you should do if you see one on your street.
Live and streaming, this is KSL News Now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us for KSL News Now. I'm Lori Pritchard. We're going to get to those stories in just a bit. But first, Matt Johnson, let's talk about the weather outside. Oh, my gosh, it's like swaying. I mean, you walk outside and you can barely take a step forward.
Yeah, it is mild. So it's a comfortable wake up this morning. But, man, it has been pesky in the overnight. If you didn't get sleep because of the rustling.
Right, I was one of those people.
Yeah, I'm with you. Even some folks reporting it's kind of shaking, rattling the siding on the home. So I apologize for that, but we're going to see it for the next couple of days. It's kept the temperatures warm in the overnight. 60 degrees is the current. Incredibly warm for this time of year, especially considering the normal low is 25. So we've got a south wind at 21, gusting to 30, dry air in place with humidity around 32%. You look at the satellite and radar, it's active to our north. So if you're headed up I-84 or I-15 into Idaho today, you've got some showers. I-80 out there west of Windover, also picking up on some rain showers. You'll notice the green here in western Utah. That's where the wind is, and that's where the mild temps are. Eastern Utah, sheltered by the wind right now, you're near that freezing mark for a lot of locations. A look at the forecast. We're going to keep it in the mid and upper 50s, even some low 60s with a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. We will likely break another record. We'll talk about that warmth in just a few minutes, Lori.
All right, Matt, thanks. Well, it was a wrong turn during a family trip. That turned into a costly mistake for a Utah father traveling with his foster children. They wound up accidentally crossing into Canada, and their 2 Haitian migrant sons were held at the border for 7 hours. They weren't allowed to return to the U.S. until they had one specific document. News specialist Brian Carlson has our story for us this morning. It's a story you'll only see on KSL. Brian, explain to us kind of what happened and why they were held for so long.
Yeah, that's the big question here this morning here, Lori. So this family's speaking out this morning because they don't want anyone else to be able to go through what they went through. Now, the family here from Utah, and they never meant to leave the country. They had no idea that if they did, that their foster kids would need this one specific documentation to help them get back in. So that's why they're speaking out this morning, to help avoid other families having to go through the same thing. So here's what happened. You had these families kind of with their situation. Now, KSL is concealing the children's identities because they're in the foster care system. So the children became part of the family 3 years ago when Melody and Virgil Ertley opened their home to the brothers who were refugee minors from Haiti. Today, one of the boys, a 17-year-old, still lives with them. They say they always wanted to visit their mother, who lives in New York State, and their 2 little brothers. So foster dad took them on a trip to Buffalo. During the trip, Dad accidentally drove over a bridge into Ontario, Canada, and couldn't turn around until it was too late. Ertley says Canadian agents cleared the boys, who are not U.S. citizens, to cross the bridge to go back, but U.S. agents at the border stopped them and said they must have certain visa documentation to get back in, and that put the family into a panic.
Our friends were praying, and we're just really worried. These are our kids. This is our brother, right? He's our guy.
Now, they had every other paperwork you could think of, but the one agent said that they needed. The family learned that the U.S. is now telling Haitian immigrants that they'll no longer have protected status as of February 3rd. For them, they were told the boys would be turning over to ICE. Now, after a grueling 7 hours, they were allowed to come back into the country. So Mom wants others to know that this could happen to you, and so that's why they're trying to speak out this morning to help avoid those families from going through the same thing. Now, for them, they have passports, they speak English, so they know that they're at a better advantage than other families who may face the same situation. Now, for their kids, right now we're told that the boys are on a flight back to Utah, and they will be reunited with their family here today. Reporting live, Brian Carlson, KSL 5 News. Back to you.
I'm glad they're on their way home. Brian, thank you. In other headlines this morning, an Ogden judge is dropping a sex abuse charge against a man accused last year. 77-year-old Jack Fyans was charged with forcible sex abuse last month for allegedly groping a care facility employee. Here's where things get strange. Fyans died on April 14th of this year. It's not clear why the county chose to charge him 7 months after his death. Salt Lake City firefighters say a home and garage are destroyed this morning after bursting into flames. This happened at 1111 South Concord Street Saturday night. Firefighters say they put out the fire just before midnight. They stayed on the scene for about an hour more to monitor any hot spots. They're still looking into the cause of that blaze. And this morning, a Taylorsville man is accused of shooting at another car during a road rage confrontation. 68-year-old George Mahone was charged on Friday with aggravated assault and discharge of a firearm. Officers say he fired several shots during an incident near 38th West California Avenue. Mahone allegedly told police that he fired some rounds at another driver who also had a gun. Police say one bullet actually passed through a rolled-down passenger window and broke a driver's windshield. It doesn't appear like anyone was hurt in this shooting. Right now, a woman is facing charges in St. George for a serious crash involving a cyclist. Police say that man was struck in the intersection of 1300 West and Sunset Boulevard. We don't have an update on his condition, but charging documents say he was found unresponsive and was placed on life support. The driver is identified as 25-year-old Lacey Winder. Police say she admitted to using marijuana earlier in the day and failed sobriety tests. She allegedly told officers she was delivering pizza at the time of that crash. We're learning about a Utah connection to the deadly mass shooting at Brown University in Rhode Island. The school's head of campus safety was the former police chief at the University of Utah. Rodney Chapman resigned his post at the U in 2021 to take the job at Brown. He was hired in the wake of Lauren McCluskey's murder, leading an investigation into the case that resulted in the firing of multiple officers. Chapman said his job was threatened after he came up with a plan to inform students and employees about mistakes that were made in that case. Campus security at Brown has come under heavy scrutiny in response to that shooting over the gunman's ease of access to the building and a lack of working cameras that could have helped identify that suspect. The attack killed 2 people and wounded 9 others. The gunman was able to evade police for several days, carrying out a second deadly attack on an MIT professor before the gunman took his own life. A missing Utah man with autism has been found safe. It was the second time he'd gone missing in just a matter of weeks. 29-year-old Austin Beckworth is nonverbal and is considered a vulnerable adult. He disappeared the first time near the University of Utah back in November. It took more than 3 weeks to find him. Beckworth disappeared a second time just days later. His mother posting to social media Sunday morning announcing that he is safe once again and thanking everyone who helped in his search. All right, let's get to Matt Johnson right now and talk about the forecast. Today is the first full day of winter, and it does not feel like it.
That's nowhere near. Yeah, this is what we expect in the month of March, these temperatures. We've got KSL live camera showing a little bit of sunlight starting to sneak in there as the sun decides to come up on a Monday morning at the start of Christmas week. Yes, we have a little bit of wind out there, and that's keeping things really, really mild. Look at some of these wind gusts. 70 miles an hour at the top of Mount Baldy at Alta, 60 miles an hour for the Sandy Bench. So if you haven't been able to sleep last night, this is why. Those gusts around 50 for Tooele and Eureka. Bountiful Bench, 42, and it's been consistent through the night. Currently, a sustained wind out of the south at about 21 in Salt Lake, most of the wind in western Utah, and that's why we're seeing really, really warm temperatures, because it's out of the south. Currently, it is 60 degrees, folks. Incredible warmth, because the record for the day, which is usually around the warmest part of the day in the afternoon, 57. We've already beat that. That was back in 1964. We've got mild temperatures across the state, maybe a shower towards the Idaho border. We'll talk more about rain chances Christmas week coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. We'll check back in with you. This morning, a message from former Senator Mitt Romney. It is time to raise taxes on the wealthiest Americans. In a New York Times op-ed piece, Romney says doing so would help prevent Social Security benefit cuts and reduce the national debt. He also suggesting closing tax loopholes benefiting billionaires like Elon Musk. Utah Senator Mike Lee, though, says he doesn't agree with Romney's take. In a statement, Lee's spokesman says Senator Lee knows, as do all conservatives, that you can't tax your way to prosperity, but you can kill jobs, investment, and growth for American families. We will not be doing that. However, the Utah Taxpayers Association did not dismiss Romney's ideas outright, saying this: with someone who has been as successful as Senator Romney, it would be unwise to dismiss his thoughts. They deserve consideration, and we would hope Congress focuses on cutting spending as much as possible before even considering any tax increase. This morning, doctors are warning about surging cases of the flu as millions of people get ready to gather for the holidays. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, at least 1,900 people have died from the flu nationwide this season, with over 4.5 million flu cases recorded so far. Doctors say the dominant strain is a mutation of influenza A called subclade K. They say this could evade some of the protections your flu vaccine could give you. But despite that, doctors say the best way to protect yourself and members of your family 6 months and older is to get your flu shot. Right now, experts say what could be a record-setting holiday travel exodus is now underway. On that historic note, AAA estimates a record-setting 122.4 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles from home. AAA says nearly 110 million people will drive, just over 8 million will fly, and close to 5 million will take other forms of travel. AAA booking data shows that the top 3 domestic destinations this season: Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. They're all in Florida. A very somber but heartfelt holiday tradition at Liberty Park, keeping the memory of Utahns who passed away during the holidays alive. Hundreds of candles lighting the paths of Tracy Aviary in memory of Utahns who have passed away. Those candles are each wrapped with a name tag.
The holiday season is just a tender time for so many people and for so many reasons, but often for those that we've lost and just missing the memories we have with them. And so to celebrate them and find a way to remember them and in such an amazing, magical place.
The annual event raises money for the charity Counting Stars, which helps families who have experienced the loss of an infant. President Dallin H. Oaks of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is giving the world a Christmas message of peace. The leader of the church calling on all of us to show love towards our neighbors this holiday season.
Christmas awakens in us a desire to extend ourselves beyond our normal ties of love and friendship. The heavenly proclamation, on earth peace, goodwill toward men, was not limited to those for whom we already have feelings of love and affection. It directed goodwill to casual friends, to strangers, even to enemies.
This will be President Oaks' first Christmas as the leader of the church, following President Nelson's passing back in September. This winter, you can now show Utah children that you have their backs. We want to remind you that KSL is running our annual Quarters for Christmas campaign. 100% of the money we receive goes towards buying warm coats, shoes, and clothes for children who really need them. Scan that QR code right there on your screen, or you can go to our website, KSL TV, to learn more. Well, it is officially winter after the winter solstice marked the occasion on Sunday morning. And Mill Creek Common put on a special solstice bazaar to help drum up business for local shop owners.
This is my second market with the bazaar. I love it. It's always busy and fun.
Around 40 vendors set up shop for the last day of that bazaar. And this morning, a reminder for anyone looking to ski Little Cottonwood Canyon over Christmas break. Parking reservations now required 7 days a week at Alta. Now, the goal is to help deal with the holiday crowds that will be headed there. Normally, reservations only required for the weekends, but right now you're going to need one each day from 8 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon through January 4th. If you don't have a reservation, you want to take the ski bus or wait until later on in the afternoon. All right, let's talk about the snow up in Alta and elsewhere in our resorts. Are we going to see any? Because I know you said it could be raining in the valleys, but what about in the mountains?
Yes, we will get some snow. So that is good. That is silver lining. We want the snow in the higher elevations because that's going to be our drinking water 6 months from now. Wanted to show you what we got going on here. Cabri Bishop at a Utah lake to close out the winter solstice, the first day of winter. It has felt nothing like it all month long. Yesterday was no different. We were in the 50s and 60s. Let's take a look at the first 3 weeks of December in Salt Lake City. So that That's through the 21st, yesterday. I don't have today's temperatures included in this chart because we still have the afternoon and the next 18 hours or so to go. So right now, even without that, the top spot, 43.3 is the average temperature through the first 3 weeks this December. Now, we get that by taking the high and the low, adding together, and dividing by how many days have transpired. We're in the number one spot. That's the average temperature when you take the high and the low together. Incredible warmth will likely stay in the number one spot as we head through the end of the month. The reason being, well, flow is still out of the southwest. We're battling high pressure and low pressure, battling for position over the west, and that sends showers and even snow showers to the Sierra of Northern California. Here in Utah today, cloudy and dry. We'll do cloudy, dry conditions again tomorrow, a little bit breezy. Then Wednesday, I think we're going to see some showers start to work in here. PM showers, that is. Now you get into Christmas Day, how about it? A couple of showers possible, but heavy snow in the Sierra Nevada. If you're traveling west on I-80, be prepared for some slow travels. In fact, I would even avoid traveling through the Sierra on Christmas Day. Friday, colder air moving in here. We may even see some snowflakes try to mix to the valley floor. That's something we're going to try to iron out as we head through the next day or so. That's Friday, our best chance to see some precip in the valley. All right, headed into the southern half of the state, partly to mostly clear skies. Temperatures in the 60s there. To the north, you got a chance for showers along the Idaho border, but south of that mark, breezy, mild and cloudy, more of what we've seen the last 2 weeks. St. George, you've got red numbers, 10 above the normal. Then we've got showers Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That does take up Christmas Eve and day, so heads up there if traveling in the southern half. Wasatch Front, 62 to 61, record warmth through Wednesday. Showers, windy with a couple of showers on Christmas Day. You've got 50 on Friday, colder air working in here, but a good chance for some rain.
All right, Matt, thank you. In consumer headlines this morning, do you prefer an artificial Christmas tree or do you want to buy the real thing? Well, experts say artificial trees have taken a big bite out of the live tree business. People are not buying real Christmas trees in the numbers they did years ago. Experts say the U.S. has 35% fewer acres dedicated to actually producing Christmas trees than it did 20 years ago. Imported artificial trees have doubled over the past decade, but that number did fall a little this year because of President Trump's tariffs. Market turbulence, ethical concerns, and sustainability questions have sparked a movement among some chocolate makers to scrap cocoa in favor of alternative ingredients. So if you're unwrapping chocolate this holiday season, it may not actually contain cocoa. Some products are now being labeled chocolate flavored instead. Some experts are predicting the current supply chain issues, they just won't go away, and cocoa won't ever return to its past cheaper prices. Smith's officials say it was the biggest grand opening in its history, and Tooele City leaders think it's just the start of things to come. Folks lining up to shop and celebrate a major store opening in their hometown. You see the line here. City officials say they're excited, but not surprised by the turnout.
I really, truly believe that Target and Costco, Trader Joe's, they are all going to take notice and see this, and I think big things are coming for Tooele City.
City leaders used AI technology from people's cell phones to learn about demographics. They say it showed residents in Tooele have above average income and a hunger for those new businesses. All right now, video circulating online of bobcats on the prowl in the avenues right above Salt Lake City. You can see right here, it looks like two bobcats. They're chasing a squirrel up a tree. Wildlife officials say while the state has a healthy bobcat population, they usually don't operate within sight.
Bobcats are pretty solitary and are mainly active at dawn and dusk. They're a bit elusive, so we don't see them nearly as often, but they're definitely there.
Well, yeah, wildlife officers say bobcat sightings don't have to be reported unless the bobcats are killing pets or acting aggressively towards people. Otherwise, they say just keep your distance, enjoy the rare sight, take some video. In the true spirit of Christmas season, thousands of high school students across northern Utah have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for local organizations. In the Jordan School District alone, 6 high schools brought $1.1 billion. Part of that was for Indy's Ohana, a charity in the namesake of 5-year-old Indy Jones, a girl with Down syndrome who died after battling cancer. Indy's parents were stunned by the overwhelming response.
You can feel that same spirit. You know, one of the things that we enjoy most about the high school kids is helping them understand like you're making a difference.
Another massive fundraising success at Clearfield High School. $103,000 was donated to Safe Harbor Crisis Center, where the executive director says he is so very grateful for those students. That's pretty incredible. The Delta Center busy on Saturday. You can see Jazz fans lining up around the block right here to take part in the Christmas jersey exchange, trading in their old gear to match the team's new look. The Jazz were anticipating big demand, so they had 2,000 new jerseys ready to swap. The event completely free for fans. All you needed to do was just trade out your old jersey. After reports of strong wind gusts in Salt Lake County on Sunday, a viewer from the Sandy Midvale area sent us this video. He says wind picking up a large carport and kind of like tossing it over that fence. Thankfully, neighbors jumped in to help tear that back down. Wow, that wind is fierce. I was walking in it yesterday, and I bet to people kind of like driving by, I looked ridiculous because I could barely, I mean, it was just pushing me.
Yeah, and it's been going on now for several days. We just keep getting this wind out of the south, and that's because, as I mentioned earlier, high pressure, low pressure, battling it out, and we're between the two. 60 in Salt Lake, breezy out of the south, 57 in Logan. I can't believe the current temperature at this hour in the morning is already warmer than the record for the date. That's mind-boggling. Incredible warmth. I've got clouds, showers way north towards the Idaho border. Here's your forecast. 62 today. If you're going to travel, headed up into Idaho and west into Nevada, you could catch showers. Tuesday, dry, 61 breezy. Wednesday, the showers take a visit here to Utah on Christmas Eve.
All right, this was in Washington, D.C., a somber scene meant to inspire really some laughter here. And here's why. Hundreds of people gathering at the Lincoln Memorial for the funeral of the U.S. penny. The Mint officially stopped production last month of the penny after the penny was deemed just too expensive to make. Each 1-cent coin cost about 4 cents to manufacture. They took that seriously, too. All right, Santa Claus made an early pit stop at Pioneer Park in downtown Salt Lake. All the presents were for the pups. The street dog crew helped plan Santa's visit, where he offered food, supplies, and treats for unhoused and struggling pet owners.
We're here at Pioneer Park year-round, every other Sunday from 12 to 1. And today we're here with Santa, just handing out a little bit of extra in the way of some holiday cheer.
Dogs and owners were also able to get their picture with the head elf. There was a great turnout despite those high winds we were talking about.
Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away.
All right, speaking of Santa, there's a Christmas upset on the Billboard Global 200 list. Wham's Last Christmas is the #1 song in the world right now. The 1984 classic by the British duo George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley is leading the list for the very first time. That song is the second holiday hit to reign since the Global 200 began in September of 2020. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, which currently sits at #2, had previously ruled since the chart began in 2020. And by the way, if you've ever played Whammed, where you go as long as you can before you hear Last Christmas, I played with my friends at the Arrow 103.5. I won the trophy, and here it is. I have proof. All right, thanks so much for joining us here on this Monday morning. We're 3 days away from Christmas. We leave you with a live look to downtown Salt Lake City. Gorgeous shot as that sun comes up. Thanks so much for being here with us. Have a great day, everyone.